be in trouble, and I don't know what else they could possibly run. How they could utilize Yosky potentially to pull out a victory. I just think the composition Cloud9 has it's super solid.
Ooh, we got a little thug cleave action.
Okay, they tried to snipe.
Go ahead, game number 1, Cloud9 versus Unitas.
Looks like they got combat, so they're not going to be able to sap. Are they just going to go Mistweaver? He's playing Conflict. I don't think Cubsy will die, but this is the first time we've seen a Subtlety Rogue, really, with a Survival Hunter, so maybe it's got enough damage. They're going straight for the Mistweaver. A race to the finish. They're playing Spite as well, trying to overload Cubsy as much as possible here, but they're totally intercepted, stun locked, and shut down. Cubsy easily portals away from that. Oxygen, I don't even think could get his Spite down. He was already polymorphed by Wealthy Man. Aiden on the run, having to cloak with shadows behind the pillar. Now they switch to Oxygen out in midfield, and the surprise factor has been pretty much lost at this point for Unitas. Where do you go from here?
To the pillar is where you go if you're Unitas right now. Chanimal looking to ramp up here, getting some immolates out, getting some damage, throwing out the fears. Yoski's in a sheep, Aiden's in a fear right now, getting swapped to. Wealthy Man blinks in aggressively here, and is that Icy Vents or Ice Form? I think that's Icy Vents from Wealthy Man, the last couple of seconds of it. And it looks like they might be setting up here onto Oxygen at the end of the sphere. I don't think they have a stun. It would have to be up to Chan here to get Shadow Fury or something, but it looks like Oxygen is going to recover his teammates here with that Vitality Conduit. Yoski going for the trap. Cubsy porks it. Legendary place here by Cubsy. Nice grapple weapon onto Aiden. And just like that, Unitas need to go back behind the pillar and look for something to happen. Aiden actually dropping a smoke bomb here by himself onto Cubsy. I don't think they're going to be able to get too much as a result of that. Chanimal going to be fearing up Yoski. They're going to sheep up Aiden. Cubsy's going to be completely fine without using anything. Step dressed him to try to take him down anyway, but he has Life Cocoon, he has mobility. Cubsy is just going to be able to kind of duck through this, and he has his leg sweep as well. You can almost expect Cubsy to roll in and triple sweep them behind that pillar if they choose to go for that line of play here on the side of C9. But slowly but surely, it looks like they have them in that classic C9 chokehold. One wizard on one side, the other on the other side, and they're just pinching them behind the pillar then.
When you see this positioning, this just puts a smile on Cloud9's face. Just everyone getting blizzarded, frozen orb, the rogue just getting snared. The only way he gets to his target is with Shadow Step, and then it's a gate, a port, a shimmer, and he can't reconnect. Actually, Wealthy Man pushing in, gets a full polymorph, and now Aiden could be in some trouble. The double Mortal Coil comes in. Wealthy Man with another polymorph and a Ray of Frost. Aiden is just so snared. A full fear comes in.
2 seconds.
And now
Aiden
has got 1 second left on the Cloak of Shadows. He trinkets. He Cloak of Shadows. Oxygen still not out of crowd control. Cubsy moves forward, ports away, and Aiden is just completely destroyed and devastated. Cloud9 not afraid at all during that game, and they will claim game number 1.
Yeah, well played by Cloud9 for game number 1 here. Now they're up 1-0 in this series up against Unitas. Break down those final moments for us, though, Supatis. How were they able to take down Unitas in game number 1?
Well, I mean, the main reason is conflict and strife. I feel like we're not going to see subtlety rogues when it's a specialization designed on only killing and stuns, and you can run an essence that basically reduces the effectiveness of damage and stuns by such a huge margin that you basically stand no hope of ever cutting through it. They're just going to be limited. I do like the creativity. They brought something different to try and make it work, but conflict and strife is 100% going to just totally negate what you're doing as a subtlety rogue, and then the Survival Hunter doesn't really bring enough burst either to the table. Maybe if Marksman was more meta and Marksman burst damage was higher, then this would have potential, but that's the main reason we don't see Thug Cleave at all, and like we don't see it from the Golden Guardians ever either. It's just lacking the ability to penetrate through the defense that's available in the game at the moment. But those final seconds was basically Oxygen was just crowd controlled endlessly. Even though Aiden had Cloak of Shadows, it doesn't last that long, and the fears just kept happening, and he ultimately was taken down. So Chanimal with good crowd control and Cubsy and Wealthy Man with good follow-up damage was a pretty clean game for Cloud9. And by pretty clean, I mean like squeaky clean, like perfect clean.
I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less from Cloud9. If you just look at their results from the last, all of the cups that we've seen them play, this team is just one that is really hard matchup for anyone, and Unitas really is going to have an uphill battle for them. But I'm not losing hope just yet for game number 2 here. They are going to be choosing their map soon. Do we want to make any sort of predictions? What can they do here if you're Unitas? Do we know maybe what map they want to pick or what they want to change up for game number 2 here, Ven?
Hook point.
Well,
Hook point.
I guess a smaller map might be a little bit better. So they could go hook point, something really, really small, which will allow Aiden to maybe stay on target a little bit more. But I think the main problem for Unitas is just their composition relies on just killing someone in a stun, 100 to 0. And when the enemy team is playing triple conflict and strife, they're playing maximum versatility. And they know what they're doing, quite frankly. It's really, really difficult to find that win condition. And that's why we saw kind of like a lack of pressure in that game. And I think it's one of the reasons why we just don't see Sub Rogue very often. It's just because in a tournament setting, conflict and strife, 60% versatility, it makes it really difficult to actually close out the game. So if Unitas can switch up their composition, I think they absolutely should. If they can't, I think it's gonna be a rough series for them.
Looks like they are going to hook point. Cloud9 playing Mage Lock. Not much of a surprise there. Unitas has 1 more minute to lock in their comp. So if they do stick with that comp, maybe there's something in terms of... Oh, there we go. We're going to see...
Okay.
Is that a
Sid, I'll let you take this one.
It is a prot.
I took me a
Aren't they
second to
bad?
register the icon for that because it's been so long since I've seen it. I'll let you guys talk about this though.
They
No, it's
banned. No, they're
double
not
tank.
banned.
Double tank is not allowed, but one tank.
Oh. Oh, well. I
Did
guess
you actually think they were
so.
banned?
Yeah, I straight up thought the prop specs are just banned from Arena.
That's just
Or from
wishful
AWC.
thinking on the side of Zika.
Well, I haven't seen
Well,
it
you
in a
can't
while,
ban
so
this.
I'm just
Yeah.
blissfully ignorant, I guess.
Was the last time we saw it, this was like Bean or something,
Is
right?
that Guardian Druids for a little while? Thugbear.
Thugbear, yeah. I think
Yeah.
Thugbear was
No, I mean this spec.
a
Prop
prop
Paladin's been a
Officer
really
Bean.
good PvP tank spec for a while. I feel like Prop
No,
Paladin's
it's really,
been
really
Yeah,
good.
that's what
But
I'm
in the
saying,
AWC,
like,
I think the last time it was been Bean, honestly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I said. Yeah, Bean was the last person. I think he had
Maybe
he was
a
really
Vanish.
proud of his win rate on it too. It was like 100% for a really long time.
I think the one problem, so I think Prot is actually good into a lot of things. The one thing it's not good into is
Mage
Mage Lock.
Lock.
Unfortunately.
The one thing they're facing.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that
It's-
then. Why might this not be the best choice up against Mage Lock? What's something that it would be maybe a better choice for if Unitas wanted to play this composition again in the rest of the BFA circuit?
I mean, the good prot comp right now is like prot DK Shaman. Prot Rogue Priest just... I mean, the prot's going to heal a lot. Maybe that enables Oxygen to pump out a ton of damage. Problem is against Mage Lock, he's going to be crowd controlled if he tries to really do anything. So, I mean, it's a dampen comp. Like, just dot up as many things as you can. Try and do as much damage as you can. Rotate your defensive cooldowns. Maybe if they play Repentance, maybe they've got enough crowd control, but... we'll have to wait and see here how they decide to play up this matchup, because I don't think we've ever seen Rogue and Prot and Disc on the same team before.
Yeah, and we are going to see Yoski push in for the Hammer of Justice. They're going for Wealthy Man. Dressed connect. Chan is there, backing him up with the Fear Spam onto Aiden. There's the Infernal. There's the Shadow Fury. There's the Leg Sweep. And there's the damage. Is he going to Trinket? No, they are going to trade out Cubsy's Trinket there, actually, onto the Blind. So, Cubsy, potential kill target. I don't know how much burst Pally can really do in a stun lock, but potential there for them. Or maybe they can crowd control Cubsy and try to force one of the ice blocks. Not the worst opener here for Unitas, but I'm struggling to see where the pressure is being put. Right now, they smoke bomb Wealthy Man, he just blinks out. They get a nice sap here by Aiden. Extended CC chain. Can they force something out? The Oxygen spamming out the smites, but it doesn't seem to be doing too much.
Game is paused. Polymorph on Yoski, Fear on Aiden, and that's one of the main problems. When you are in trouble, you just pause the game by spamming Fear, by spamming Polymorph, and now you can get aggressive with a full Polymorph onto Oxygen, into a full Fear. Nice setup here by Cloud9, but a kidney shot will deny. And even though I don't think this is necessarily the best matchup here for Unitas, they're staying alive. They're not out of it just yet. They're still managing to find a little bit of pressure. Fear, though, onto Yoski with an interrupt onto Oxygen. Another interrupt onto Oxygen. He's just really, really struggling. But so far, Unitas still, with the help of Yoski on that Paladin, is keeping the team in the fight. And maybe they could, if they pull out a win here, I would be absolutely blown away. But definitely don't count Unitas out.
You got Mortal Wounds from the Rogue. You got double Gushing Wounds from the Prop Pally and the Assassination Rogue. You actually do have crowd control. I mean, the Gushing is there to do the damage. You've got good crowd control. I actually don't see why this wouldn't work, possibly, for them. these silences on a Cubsy, as long as they chain, I actually do think this can work. Look at this crowd control chain right now. Like, well, they've been temp shields. If he purges the temp and mass dispels the block during that time, I actually do think this comp can win on a small map.
All right, well, let's see what they can do here. Unitas not out of it yet, according to Sid. Let's see if they can keep up the pressure. Wealthy Man taking quite a beating here, actually. It takes quite a bit of damage. That gushing wound is just taking on him. But Cubsy gets blinded, trinkets out of it, gets corroded on his trinket. Shouldn't have no problem stabilizing Wealthy Man in this situation. Channel drops the Infernal, Cataclysm, Chaos Bolt. Aiden takes massive damage. Paralyzed into Sheep, onto Oxygen. Let's see what they can get down here. Big heals coming out from Yosk here on that Prot Pally. And it looks like Aiden's going to be fine with that pain suppression cooldown. Nice silence here onto Cubsy. Do they have anything to chain it with, though? Yosk might be looking for the Hammer of Justice here onto Cubsy. Let's see if he can find it. He gets it. He knocks him away as well. The Wealthy Man's in a stun, getting knocked around here, but Chanimal just trying to peel the situation.
Oh, Sap!
Banish Sap. Let's see. Can they get the ice block here? Chanimal is just still spamming out the fears onto Yosk. They sheep Aiden, and now they're going for Yosk here with the Chaos Bolt.
Look at this.
He's still in crowd control in that fear. Can they get anything out? There is the life cocoon. And Wealthy Man is going to survive, but I definitely see your point there, Sid. I think if they do that and 20% dampening, they could definitely pull ahead big time on the side of Unitas.
Yoski getting low. There's the Divine Shield. I think that's one of the main problems is Yoski is very susceptible. And I think originally they were going after Aiden, but I think if they go after Yoski more in the match and just control Oxygen, it's going to be really, really difficult for Yoski to survive in this matchup. But being a prop paladin, he has a lot more immunities than just the Divine Shield, luckily for him. So he's going to be able to rotate through those defensives. And in terms of mana, it's actually relatively even at this point. On the small map, Unitas, definitely not out of it yet. They haven't got an Ice Block just yet, but they did get the Life Cocoon out of the way, which is definitely a little bit better than the last game we saw play out. So this composition, this pick, is certainly working a little bit more in their favor.
Let's see if they can keep it up here. Maybe a swap to the Warlock and dampening. Looks like they're going after Cubsy. They stun him with Hammer of Justice. He's playing Conflict. I don't think they're going to blast him down. They go for Smoke Bomb anyway. Kidney shot out. Kidney shot out. No Life Cocoon. No Fort Brew. Safeguard. Can they purge off the Safeguard? Big Hellstone there with those healing elixirs. Cubsy pops himself there instantaneously. That was still pretty close, considering he's playing Conflict. The Prop Paladin doing more pressure than the Survival Hunter. I mean, I feel like this is looking a lot better for them.
Yeah, definitely. That was a really good push there. Cubsy is not going to have a safeguard here. If they decide to go for him again, they go with the kidney shot. Yoski's there as well. They're trying to get some damage, but Yosk could be in trouble here. They have crowd control on the Oxygen. He has no bubble. He needs to be extremely careful here. Yosk actually still going very aggressively here. Dropping down about 10% HP, 5% HP. He gets the Vitality Conduit, and he is going to activate. Don't know what the name is, but that is basically a blessing of protection to magic spells. That icon that is glowing to the far left of the Yosk right there, a 2-minute cooldown. So Yosk is not going to have that magic bubble, so to speak, for another 2 minutes here. So there is definitely kill potential for both teams right now.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Yoski right now, Aiden, Oxygen all behind the pillar. This is not the position you want to be in. And suddenly Oxygen has burned through most of his mana, so this is just looking more and more dire for Unitas. That being said, I mean, they did get the Safeguard out of the way from Cubsy. I don't know where the openings are. They didn't get any ice blocks from Wealthy Man. Chanimal still has, you know, basically all his defensive cooldowns, the Unending Resolve, the Hellstone if he needs it. And if Unitas continues to just get pinned at the pillar, I think they're just going to slowly lose this game. So they have to push forward and try to continue the pressure if they can. Yoski marches forward with his sword, with his shield, looking for vengeance, but I don't know if he's going to find it. A full polymorph onto Oxygen. Once again, Yoski forced at the pillar, just getting snared. Chanimal in hot pursuit with the Mortal Coil, looking for a Chaos Bolt. Finds one. Is it enough? It doesn't look to be. Yoski healing himself up, and that's one of the amazing benefits of having a Protection Paladin is you have like a second mini healer on your team, and Yoski can sustain himself for quite some time.
Mini healer. I think the scoreboard might show otherwise. I don't think Yost's healing is that small. Crowd control chain on Cubsy, pushing for an ice block on Wealthy Man. They really need to get an ice block with this chain. Yosk moves in for more crowd control. Avengers shield silence. Aiden gets polymorphed. He can't stay on target. He's feared, but still Hammer of Justice. Drestigat drop by Yosk. Really pushing for the ice block. Mind control's at low health. They do manage to pull off an ice block. They pull Yosk back to the pillar, and I kind of feel like I have to correct you, Ven. I don't think Yosk is looking for vengeance. If we watch the cinematic for Bastion, it's justice. He's looking for justice.
No, he's definitely not looking for retribution. That's for sure here on that.
You guys didn't watch that cinematic?
We definitely watched
we
it.
definitely did, yeah.
I don't think all Retribution Paladins are the same, though. All Protection Paladins, okay? Just saying, Yoski might have a different opinion than Uther. That's all I'm saying.
All right, I'm glad we got that out of the way. Let's see, though, if it's going to be over. My son, I'm just kidding. Full fear.
No king rules forever, and Mage Love. If Prot wins this game.
No king rules forever, that's for sure. But Cloud9 still looking like their throne's looking all right at this point of the game. Oxygen basically bottomed out on mana. He has run out of steam. Yoski is going to be the new primary healer for the team. Let's see how long that can last at 20% dampening, pinned at the pillar, Blizzard ripping in, Frozen Orb ripping in, Chanimal and Wealthy Man in prime position. Cubsy's mana looking great. And right now, Cloud9 is looking like they are going to win this game. But Unitas, they get off the pillar. They realize they got to make something happen. The Divine Steed from Yoski knocking Channel in the air, and as well as Wealthy Man. But where is the damage? Unfortunately, not able to find it. Shadow Fury comes in, and as this game goes on, deeper and deeper in dampening, Yoski and his off heals are going to be becoming more and more insignificant. And that is when Cloud9 is really going to secure their advantage.
Avenger Shield Silence, no Hammer of Justice. Cubs actually pre-walling. Maybe thought they were going to swap. They still have Spell Warding, so Yas can go immune to magic damage with Divine Shield and the Spell Warding. So a couple options in terms of cooldowns, but I just don't think they can recover. Dampening's too high. There's no mana left. They pop Avenging Wrath. Yas might catch a couple of heals, but Oxygen's in a full polymorph. I don't think Yas can heal himself and Aiden at this point in the game. Aiden uses Cloak of Shadows to immune damage, tries to reposition, but now Chanimal is left open, lands a full fear. Spell Warding onto Aiden. He's immune to magic damage on 10%. They're doing whatever they can to just keep swimming above the water and not drown the Cloud9. Somehow managing to recover. Full blind on Cubsy. Bit surprising to not just see him trinket this immediately. He's sitting through a full blind. Will he regret it? Hammer of Justice down now as well. They're pushing down Wealthy Man. Temporal Shield isn't going to be enough. He blinks to safety. Frost Nova on Aiden. Polymorph on Yas. Good control by Wealthy Man. Infernals have been called in. Double leg sweep by Cubsy. They drop Smoke Bomb defensively to prevent Chanimal's assault. Interesting decision here from Aiden, but it may not be enough. Vitality Conduit fades. Mortal Coil to follow up. One more Chaos Bolt should close it out here. Chaos Bolt in the sky. No, he gets gripped behind the pillar. Oxygen picks him up from the brink. Somehow, someway, Unitas still alive.
And I really like that Chan held on to his Dark Soul here. So the next time they push in, look, Chan is just stacking up the Incinerates, stacking up the Immolates, and you're going to see him soon pop off. He gates the Kidney and preemptive Ring of Peace in case they would chase him. But he's still Trinket, the Kidney that he gated. I'm not sure about that. He wants to pop off. There it is, Dark Soul. One bolt is going to connect. One Cataclysm is going to be served. And what else do you have in store here? Chanimal gets 2 Garrotes, grapple weapon to deny the Kidney. Chanimal looking to ramp up that last little bit of damage. I think he can get one more Chaos Bolt off here if he is lucky with that Dark Soul, but doesn't look like he's going to get Kidney Shot, and now Chanimal is the main target. 32% dampening. Unitas is making their push here, but it looks like Wealthy Man is just going to sheep Yosk and Oxygen. Well, he is completely out of mana, so he can't even dispel that sheep. Yosk is going to use his Divine Shield. He's going to use Sacrifice on Aidan, but Oxygen... What about Oxygen right now in a Mortal Coil getting destroyed by Wealthy Man and Chanimal?
Yeah, and I think the one thing in this game, we touched on it a little bit at the beginning. Super T's was talking about the crowd control that Unitas really had available. Well, Chanimal, he brought out an Imp, and then that crowd control is seemingly gone. So the one win condition Unitas maybe had, which was extended crowd control on Cubsy, and take down either Chanimal or Wealthy Man, that's non-existent anymore thanks to the Imp. And now Aiden, Oxygen, Yoski have appeared to run out of time. Oxygen gets interrupted. Grapple weapon on Aiden. Aiden and Yoski looking to make one final push. Can they do it? Oxygen really has nothing left, but somehow, some way, he's still keeping his team alive. Wealthy Man just teeing off Frostbolts on Aiden. And now, unfortunately for Unitas, they find themselves in a situation where they are down 0-2. And the Prot Pally isn't working. The Hunter wasn't working. My question is, where is the Mage? I heard word that he might not actually be available today, so unfortunately for Unitas, I just don't know if they have a better option than this against Cloud9.
Do we feel like that composition, though, for Unitas?
Yeah, play a healer that doesn't run out of mana and just go really deep into dampening and just trade cooldowns. Like, you have 10 Ice Block cooldowns, the other team only has, well, if you go Warlock, they have none. So you could just trade your ice blocks and deep dampening and kill the Warlock if you have mana to make it that far.
Do you think that if they played Resto Shaman with the same composition that they would do a little better? Like, I mean, it looked kind of close. Like, that game lasted a pretty long time. It seemed to do better than we may have expected it to in the beginning of game 2 here, Ben.
Yeah, look at this. We can talk about that, but I just want to look at this.
No, you're fine.
CC
You're fine. Go ahead.
The CC inflicted in this game,
100.
Chanimal 100 CCs inflicted. Wealthy Man was next at 35. That's a lot of crowd control.
Well, that's not counting the roots that Chanimal is spamming on DR as well. Every time you conflagrate someone.
There you go.
All right, well, going into game number 3, let's talk about options on the side of Unitas. Obviously, they're looking to try and turn the series around here against Cloud9. Down 2 teams. We've already seen them try 2 different compositions. So really, what's the next step here for Unitas? It doesn't really seem like there's much more that they can do on the side of Unitas, Zico.
Well, they could play BM Hunter Arcane, which are supposed to be super good into Cloud9, Sid.
PM Hunter Prop Paladin.
See, they didn't try that either.
BM Hunter
There's
Prot
plenty of options.
Paladin.
Problem is Yoski.
Plenty
Yeah,
of
Yoski
options.
plays both those. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know how they're gonna make that one work.
Do we think they'll try that, or I don't know what? It's just, what do we see them doing here? Trying something new, sticking to maybe what they know. Like, what do we like? What can they really even do here for game number 3, Sid?
I think you play Prop Paladin, Holy Paladin, you play Spite, and you play double Blinding Light. You do a Blinding Light Spite go, and then do another Blinding Light Spite go.
Okay, what do you think about that?
I'm actually down at this point.
I mean, they don't have anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
It's kinda
normally
true.
some of the suggestions Subities has, I'm not on board with, but it looks
really
like they're going to be
condescending
going
then.
with the tank again. So, yeah, Unitas once again going with the disc, Assassination Rogue Prop Paladin into Cloud9's Mage Lock Monk, and it actually didn't look too bad at the beginning of the game. I think the one turning point was when Chanimal brought out the Imp and could dispel the Hammer of Justice. At that point, I don't really know where the opening is. The only opening I see for Unitas is bringing the game to the deepest, darkest parts of dampening. Like, we're talking 70% damp. If they can make it there, maybe they could win the game.
What would they have to do to sort of fend off any setups coming from Cloud9? You know, that game lasted, what did it go to? It was like 15 minutes, yeah, something like that. What exactly could they maybe be doing to try and hold off Cloud9 up until that deeper dampening, like Finn was saying, to 70% within that range to maybe try and secure a victory for this next game, Zico?
Just hug that pillar and never let go. Never, no matter what they do not let go. If anyone pushes in, you put all your cooldowns on that person. If there is blizzards down, just free them. Try to avoid getting pincered as much as possible. You're probably gonna have to spend some mana, but if that's your only concern, is to making it as deep as possible into dampening, I think that's how you do it. Just sit behind the pillar and pop cooldowns on anything that comes by in there.
All right, here we go.
All right, let's see. You go ahead, Subities.
Well, they're actually just going after Cubsy. They're not turtling at all, just immediately going after the healer. Big revival pop from Cubsy there. He's back to full health. Yoski's still going. That's risky, man, with Chanimal and Wealthy Man open. That's a little bit reckless on the side of Unitas here, but now they're back to the pillar. The one advantage of the Prop Paladin as well is you can drop Consecration with an Honor Talent and dispel slows. But right now, Oxygen can't get back to the pillar. He's kind of just stuck out there. He's going to jump off the side, but they're still freely casting on him. Death from above from Aiden. Gets Grapple Weapon, Mortal Cold away. Oh no, now Aiden's not on the pillar. He's trying to make his way back. I mean, pre-dampening, I don't think either side's at too much of a risk. The Prop Paladin healing is super effective. Oxygen just maintains Atonement, healing. It's not going to be a really big deal. What they need to figure out is what they want to do with the Imp. So are they going to do what they just did, where they Avengers Shield Silence? They actually got Unending Resolve. They got Life Cocoon. If that happened at 50% dampening, Chanimal was dead. If they make it to dampening, I think they can pull this off.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sold, but You know, I'm not going to write off the comp completely. If they can make it into dampening with good mana and get good pressure, that's definitely an option. They get Cubsy's Trinket here, so there's actually kill opportunity here on Cubsy. If they want to do the same thing as before, Hammer of Justice gets Imp Spelled immediately, and it's pretty important that Channel does it because Aiden has his Vanish right now, so if Cubsy sits a 4 Hammer of Justice, it's probably going to be followed up with a Vanish Stab. So Channel needs to be on point with that Imp. Let's see what they can do here. Wealthy Man is just kind of standing goalkeeper right now between his enemy target and their healer, and that means anytime Oxygen leaves the pillar, well, he's getting shaped. And right now, you can see Chanimal positioning downstairs, and that is exactly to drag Oxygen away from the other box and put him in the middle of the map where he is right now. And now Wealthy Man has an opportunity here to potentially go for crowd control. I'm not sure if he wanted to go for that sheep on Yosk there, but he had an opportunity to try to snipe it for Oxygen. Maybe Oxygen's let Prem or something, I'm not sure. But it's all about playing the position. If you're the Wizards and their enemy team is pushing in, you want to go to basically where Cubsy is right now. So right there where you can see Cubsy. If you stand there, Oxygen won't be able to heal. He has to push forward, and that's when you can set up cross crowd control and take control. Right now, right there, you see it, and you get immediate overlap right there. Oxygen's Trinket and the whatever Sid called it.
Magic Bop.
Yeah,
We'll call it Magic Bop here.
Right.
Yeah, the Magic Blessing and Protection. It was a nice magic. It was a nice Magic Bop though. He managed to get the Mortal Coil, which is nice. At least they got that out of the way. Not the worst trade. And now we'll see what Unitas is going to be able to get done. Still no unending resolve for another minute, but Chanimal is playing a little bit more cautious now. And that's normally what ends up happening for Cloud9 is if they are in trouble and they don't have the cooldowns, they end up just playing a really, really defensive position. Cubsy getting the Life Cocoon on that Sunlock combo, but Unitas continues to swing in advance in this matchup. We're about a minute and a half away from dampening. Oxygen's mana is about 65%, not in the worst spot. Chanimal teeing off some Chaos Bolts. Wealthy Man getting pressure down. Aiden almost forced to use the Cloak of Shadow, but big heals coming in from Oxygen and Yosk to keep him alive. And let's see what they're going to be able to get done. Interrupt now onto Oxygen, disarm onto Aiden. Good control from Cloud9, just slowing down this push from Unitas as Cloud9 taking kind of a defensive positioning right now, not really giving Unitas much ground.
See if they can keep it up here. I think I would have liked to have seen Ineffable Truth from Aiden, at least one. We see that in EU on the Rogues to get the blind not lining up with a Trinket. Then that might actually give them a 10-second window where Aiden can blind and Cubsy can't Trinket out. He's just running a Surging Vitality instead of a Gushing Wound in that slot. I feel like Ineffable would be a lot more value. A little bit too late for making that change. If they lose this game here, they'll just be out against Cloud9 in this series. They do have decent pressure on Chanimal. Mana's actually even between the Monk and the Priest, at least respectively even. Hammer of Justice, Imp Dispel by Chanimal. I'm curious to see how they want to decide to cover the Imp. Are they going to maybe use the Avenger Shield Silence, stall the Imp Dispel for a few seconds, or just instantly Avenger Shield on top of the Hammer of Justice to guarantee there's some crowd control? It seems impossible for Oxygen to get into a spot where he can really get a fear, so that's unlikely. Maybe if he's enabled by the Blessing of Freedom from Yosk. Chanimal's pulling Aiden and Yosk into a really bad position right now. Frozen Orb pins them down here. They drop a Smoke Bomb. They're just going for it. Aiden trinkets out of the grapple weapon to do some damage here. They still have unending resolve if they need to trade here. Another ward reflecting some damage. Silence on Cubsy. Into Hammer. Yosk is in position, maybe just looking for a rebuke or trying to find an interrupt. He gets feared off in the distance. Cubsy fully blinded. Trinkets instantly. Rolls up on top of Chanimal. Clutching out a couple heals. This is actually a surprising amount of pressure on both sides between these teams, but that mana bar for Oxygen, again, it's going to be a problem. I would really love to see him somehow try and set up a drink. Hammer of Justice is down. Maybe Psychic Scream the Imp and then go after Chanimal. That could be a play. I mean, look at this pressure.
Not bad. They forced out Oxygen's Trinket in the last go, and now they have a full sheep here. Aiden, goodbye. Aiden had Cloak of Shadows, so I just, because this happened earlier to Wads, and there was a lot of people in the chat like, oh, he had Cloak of Shadows, this rogue, he's not very good. He's stunned, he doesn't have a Trinket, so he can't access it, and then he got stunned again into like an Infernal Stun or whatever, so he can't press it. He's standing there pressing it, but he can't use it. So that means he got outplayed, and that's unfortunate for him, because they got 3-0.